try to do broad strokes first rather than get into the fine detail immediately, because sometimes you can just go down a rabbit hole and you kind of lose sight of the whole thing. Whereas if you go in with broad strokes, maybe do backgrounds first, or do one aspect of the scene that's most prominent. If there's a car chase, do the engine for the car first, and then the skids, or find something that grabs you and pulls you into the scene, but you don't get too deep into. And then you can go back and just start doing the additive process of fleshing it out, and then, then maybe move on to another scene, and then come back to that scene later and say, oh, it'd be great if there was a suspension clunk here when it hits the curb, and just start adding the little things that you might have glossed over the first time. Try to keep a little bit of distance from what you're doing initially, just so you have an overview and you kind of get a feeling inside of what the scene should feel like, and then maybe move on to another scene or another reel, and then come back and bounce around. I think is a good way to go if you've got the luxury of the time to do that. The other thing is, I would say take your time, as much time as you're given. Speed is not the goal. Getting done fast is not the goal. Don't forget to think about what you're doing, and it's good to work from intuition and gut reaction. That's really important. But it's also good to revisit things and see if you still get the same feeling from that scene that you got when you initially cut it. And there's plenty of times that I don't have enough time to do something. Then it really does become what works for me right now, and allocate your time wisely. Know where to spend the time, the things that are really going to be heard. If it's a gun battle, backgrounds probably aren't going to be that critical. Go for the things you'd really want to hear in that moment and make those great. And then work down from there into maybe the lesser important sounds. The things that you wouldn't notice if you can make something first person, like if you're I've never been in the middle of a gun battle, but I could imagine that you would be acutely aware of any bullets hitting nearby you, A, and then B, you'd be aware of the gun firing and waiting to see where that was going to hit, and voices, maybe, if that was part of the sequence. Probably less thinking about what your footsteps sound like, but all of that is dependent upon the scene, and it's really, my advice then in those cases where you have no time is just go for the super important stuff first. Get that out of the way, and then, flesh it out a little bit later. Over-processing, it's easy to overdo that and make the sound like something that doesn't exist in the world anymore. It may be something science fiction related that needs to have some sound, but usually it's not that over-processed sound. I want sounds to sound like a sound that I could hear in the world, that I might have heard in the world, and it's being repurposed for this other thing. Or if it's a completely fictional sound, maybe a synthesized sound, that it's treated in some way, either worldized or treated with some EQ and verb combination, so that it actually sounds like it's happening in that same space.